Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is the next day. I have since fixed a fuel leak, swapped our sensors over. So we're gonna be running a 10 bar map sensor. I believe I got this one from Hardway Performance. We have our 240 MPa sensor in there now. Those come from Dynamite, and I loaded in a new tune file for all of that, as well as what I think will work on these injectors. The last time we used these injectors was the UCC drag race. So these are big, very, very large. They have a lot of body mods. They respond to pressure extremely quickly. These things are nasty. Just to put it in perspective, our Tune 1, which is what we drag raced on and went 560 with, is like 800 US. So very, very, very small duration on these injectors, still making very, very big power. So if it is a little hazy or a little smoky, cut me some slack. I'm not an expert at tuning by any means, and I certainly am not on an injector this large with very little runtime to gauge off of. So we have a fresh motor. We're gonna go ahead and do our cam break in, followed by a hot retorque. I usually do these together. The reason why is to do a cam break in, it's 10 minutes at varying RPM from off idle to 2000 RPM. By the time I usually finish that 10-minute timer, the engine is warm enough to do a hot retorque. Now, I'm gonna cover this real quick. When you're doing a hot retorque, you want all the tools out ready to go. So we have our socket to get the valve cover off, our socket to tighten the head studs, screwdriver to pop the injector harness clips out. We have our 8mm to get the injector harness off the injectors, our 10mm to get the rocker box off as well, and then our rockers too. Because these are 625s, we only have to take, I believe, the exhaust rocker off. We have our torque wrench ready to go as well. This is the heat gun I got. I think I got this at Harbor Freight. It might have been Home Depot. When you're doing a hot retorque, you want to kind of shoot it at the filter. You can also check and make sure it's pretty uniform across the top of the head here, like so. This exhaust side of the head is always going to be hotter than the intake side of the head. That's okay. That's just the way it, obviously cold air coming in, hot air coming out. So we have our oil pressure gauge here. It also Bluetooths to my phone. It's an Eli Tech, Eli Tech. Got it off Amazon. Works great for line pressure and oil pressure in this case. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. We'll run the truck 10 minutes, varying RPM. By the time we're done, that oil filter temperature will slash cylinder head temperature be right at about 180 degrees. We're gonna get a really big turn out of these head studs, at least half a turn. I guarantee it. Get that firing crushed. Once we have completed that half a turn, then I feel it's safe to add coolant. If you guys do something different, or your mechanic's doing something different, whoever's doing the work, if they already have a way to do it, then do it that way. You guys will remember that's also why we set our valve lash loose at 10 or 12 and 22. Usually on a firing gasket after the hot retorque at 10 and or 12 and 22, once you torque it, it's usually very spot on to 10 and 20 cold. So that is what we're gonna do. Everything's ready to go. Tunes flashed in it. I'm gonna get you guys set up on a GoPro because I'm gonna need my phone for timing and the temperature and oil pressure so I can watch it all at one time. I did hook up the belts so the alternator could charge. It is a little hard on the water pump, but you know what? That thing's just gonna have to hang in there. I want to be able to drive that pump so I can get some good data logs of it idling and stuff like that. Let's get to work. as you guys can see, it's a race against time. Didn't have time to update y'all. 25 psi of hot oil pressure, which is very, very good on a stock modified Cummins pump, with like some other trickery in the oil filter housing. Very happy with that. The relief valve is still working, which is nice. Highest I saw was 85 psi of oil pressure. We ran it it took 11 minutes. Oil temperature got up to like 188. You guys saw how much those turned. Now I dump the oil out while it's hot, get all of that assembly lube and everything else out of there. Once it cools off, I will pull the oil filter off, cut it, and show you guys. And it's either gonna look really good or really bad. By all the matrix I can see with my peepers, everything looks good, sounds good. I'm gonna work on that rail hang a little bit, but it ran good enough to get it out of the shop. So now we're just waiting, cool off, let the oil drain out. From here, once I'm done with this, we can now add coolant, and essentially, as long as the lash didn't move around too much. The big problem is if the lash is tight here and gets looser as you go back. That's usually when you lose a cam, or if they're all bad. Generally, it starts to run rough and stuff. From every experience I've ever had, it sounds like this cam went fine. After we dump this oil out, we will put our Hot Shots 20W50 in. We do need to run that 2050 just for the bearing clearances we have. Oh, and I guess my AC rubbed on the belt there, but no worries. And yeah, everything went good. I'm going to clean up a little bit and let my hand cool off. Got pretty hot, and I'll check back in with you guys when we start working on it again. Okay, so we have our two Wu-Tang War whistles set up here. Basically, what we have is a V-band outlet here, obviously, and then we have the V-band inlet here. Where's that 90 at? So we have one of these Stainless Pros tight radius 90s, and it is about 1/8 of an inch short, which is fine. We can add that. And then it's about a 1/2 inch long coming out this way. So we're gonna go ahead and trim all that up and hopefully get this thing to drop in place. Okay, so I cut this apart off camera. I apologize, guys. I mean, I'm trying to hide it, I guess. This is what it looks like. A little bit of debris. That's pretty normal, especially on like a fresh build. If you look, there's some, a little bit, but I mean, really, not that bad. Not bad at all. I would consider that a very normal. Usually when you start to see like brass, like it's not actually brass, but when you see like a brass colored material or a lot of material, you know you have some issues. But all in all, this is very good. You guys can kind of see the oil in there. I know it's hard because this is like a used tray, but very very clean. So very happy there. I got the one pipe done. We're running into a little bit of snag with the air filter, so I think what I'm gonna do is do a I can't find a tight radius 90. So what I saw is Stainless Bros sells pie cuts, which I don't want a pie cut, but I'm gonna have to pie cut 90 and put the air filter right there. Should make life easier. I put our blanket on, it fits fine, hooked up our coolant there, and now I think to get the pipe around this bracket here, we're gonna run one of these to 3.5 inch pipe here. I have the compressor cover sitting outside cooling off before I pull the clamps off so it doesn't warp. I will show you guys that. I'm just kind of cleaning up right now, but I cut that oil filter open, wanted to show it to you guys. We have fresh oil in here. Again, Hot Shot Secret 20W of 50 right there. There's the empty jug, their race oil. Not to be used in your daily driver. I repeat, not to be used in your daily driver. 15W40 is plenty on these big race engines or big power engines with a lot of bearing clearance. That 2050 is what you want. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Like I said, hot pipe looks 10 times better now that it's TIG welded. I just recoated it. You can't even really see it anyway, and I'll be honest, not the prettiest thing, so we just painted it flat black. The pipes up here have turned out fantastic thus far. I need to order some more bungs for our intercooler pipe, but we are jamming right along, and that's what I love to see. And as you can see, another day, another disaster, so I'm gonna get cleaned up. You guys ready? Boom! Heck yeah. Interstage pipe, we got some colors. Not, you know, this is not gonna be precision fabrication here. This is at best above average DIY. All right, but everything fits together, pulls it nicely. So the hot pipe is supported by this bracket. It's also supported by the wastegate. And then these V-bands here, very structurally sound. So this kit, like it's solid. Got our oil feed lines ran, and then we're gonna reuse this from some kit. I think this came off my triples actually, judging by how much melted aluminum still in here. But anyway, this guy right here will sit in there, and then we're gonna kind of come up a little bit, like angle this up, come across here, and then down into our intercooler. For Blake's dyno day, I think what might happen is I'll just leave the pipe long. We'll run it into these boots here. This horn, again, not gonna work. We're gonna get a new one. So with the solid motor mounts and everything, I think on this side we might even just run both boots just because we're running out of time. But I wanted to make sure that this part of the kit looked just killer. I'm very happy with how it looks. We'll reuse this, like I said. If I have time, maybe I'll put a Vangin on over here, and maybe even a Vangin over there. I'm not sure. With the tip 'em out of our way, we have a much easier time getting to down here. Now keep in mind, there's normally a radiator here. It's not here right now, but I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna sleep on this. Basically, I don't know if I'm gonna have to overnight one of these from Pusher or GDP, but those are the only two that make the factory #1 line intake horn besides a stock one. I would totally rock a stock one, except the stock ones actually hit our feed line right here on our 14 mil pump. But this is where I'm gonna leave you guys for tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little fab slash hot retorque slash all that. Again, our hot retorque's done, our cam's broken, our rings aren't seated, but the blow by seemed very minimal, the steam coming out of the valve cover, so I'm very happy about that. Our 480, I don't know if ball bearing turbos have a break-in period, but it got some very light load, high oil pressure, and we didn't have any oil pushing through. And then obviously we still have to see what our FI does. The only thing I did do is I swapped housings, just so we're on the same page here. Forced inductions, did not recommend this, but it worked good on my other kit, so we're gonna try it on this one. This again is a 110. So David's is a 114, and then I know a couple guys got the 118. I'm a firm believer that 110 millimeter is as big of a turbine or compressor as this turbine will support. This is the G57 turbine. So essentially from our last kit, we did lose a little bit of flow with the smaller cover, but now hopefully you guys can kind of understand why we did it like that. Trying to get this kicked over and get our intercooler pipe ran through here instead of having our intercooler pipe here and down. It should look a lot cleaner, but that's why we went with the smaller cover. A ball bearing 480, so I don't know if we picked up much as far as horsepower, but reliability we gained quite a bit. And then on this 110, this should be a lot more fuel only power, and then with the turbine we should be able to take a lot more nitrous as well. So hopefully you guys are pumped for this. Like I said, if we make Blake's dyno day, awesome. I want to make sure the truck's like ready to go. If we don't, then we'll take the tow truck and I'll see who I see there. Either way, it should be a good time. Obviously the push is to get this truck done, but again, if it doesn't happen, like, I'm not going to force it. I told myself when I started this, I almost started bolting the old kit on, and I said nope. The hot pipe, because it was so structurally sound, again, I just TIG welded it. It is mild steel, but with the way our piping is, you can't even see the hot pipe once the hood stacks in. So I was kind of like, we'll skip that step. But I really wanted the inner stage and the intercooler pipe just to look super awesome. Get our nitrous ports in here, and then the other thing is I still want to be able to run an air filter. So again, we'll have our 6-inch pie cuts coming down here. I'm gonna order a 6-inch V-band, hopefully, to V-band it here, but for the show it'll probably just be 6-inch boot with a couple clamps and then drop down. But again, it's everything's a work in progress. Really just like the way this whole thing kind of turned out. Looks so much better, all black under here, and you know, got the 214s, got the 6.4, got the billet rods. I'm pumped to see what kind of numbers we get put down. Obviously the goal, of course, is to go out there and just not have any issues, and hopefully, I guess I'd be happy on the first time out. I guess 1,600 horsepower or more, I'd be thrilled. 2,000, I'd be stoked. I don't know what Blake's dyno can handle, so that's the only kind of like, I don't know what we're gonna be able to do. But for right now, this is how she sits. Hopefully you guys like this video. Drop a comment down below, subscribe if you are not already, and as always guys, I will catch y'all on the next one.